The faith is disturbing.
Believe it. Okay.
What's going on, geeks? You're listening to episode 317 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name's Cody Armour. I'm here with Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
And Lj.Lowery.
What up?
This week, we're geeking out about Gamescom. Gamescom, not Gamescon. I should know this by now. A holiday for you moviegoers out there, and the future of Umbrella Academy.
Nice.
Yeah. First, we'll get into the video games we've been playing. I played a new game, but LJ just completely crushed my hopes and dreams for this thing, because I was like, this is a Pledge Drive game. We need to play this together on the Pledge Drive.
I agreed up until we found out.
You can't.
Yeah.
It is only local multiplayer. It's called Boomerang Foo. You play as adorable pieces of food, and you throw boomerangs at each other on this like top-down map. And you have to look it up. It's amazing. It's full of chaos. Like, you can get your boomerang to be like set on fire. You get like 3 power-ups total. And then so like you have a fire one, but if you throw it and then you run into your line of fire, you will set yourself on fire. You could also set the forest on fire and then just kind of step back and like get everybody.
Nice.
And it's like the first to 10. Like, it's games are super fast, and so it's whoever gets like 10 kills first. I think it was 10. But yeah, it's just complete chaos.
But you gotta have real life friends.
Yeah, you have to have real friends. We don't have those around here. Come on now.
I don't anyway.
But I thought it was only on Switch. It is available on the 4 big ones: Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, Steam. So yeah, if you want a good like party game, bringing a bunch of people over, you can have up to 8 players, I believe. It is a lot of fun. Really cool.
So I guess you could throw that idea of us playing during a Pledge Drive right back, couldn't you?
Yes. Yeah. I love to. So like,
early.
You throw your boomerang, and then if someone else hits your boomerang in midair, which they can do, it'll go flying, and you have to go pick it up, and you're like without a weapon. It's chaos. There's one that makes you have multiple boomerangs. Like, you just throw a bunch of them, and then those can ricochet.
That's awesome.
It's madness. Needs an online. Come on, Boomerang Foo.
I saw somewhere that if you have it on Steam, you can do the remote play feature, which basically loads other players in as like multiplayer.
Okay.
So you can still technically play online, but it's not like a proprietary online system.
Yeah. I feel like that would generate a lot of lag.
I feel like
delay.
they have to be working on online multiplayer. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of local multiplayer games, but I think at this point it's become a bit of a standard to, like, if you're going to have, like, a multiplayer-focused game, maybe have both options.
Right.
But,
I'm definitely saying, like, it's good to have local, but you should also have both. Like, I should be able to play online.
At least if it's on Steam.
It's 2022.
Like, I kind of forgive consoles a little bit, but if it's on Steam, it's like, well, you're already on Steam.
Yeah.
But whatever.
You are on an online store.
Yeah.
Half of it's already done.
Yep.
Yeah.
You understand the internet.
It's like 3 more steps, maybe. I'm not a developer. Do not judge me.
Like, how hard could it be?
Actually.
Like,
We're gonna have
maybe
Joe
another 5
listen to
years
this, and he's
development.
gonna be like, "That's way harder than you think, Shelley. You're mean." I don't mean
You know the programming that's gonna take?
yeah.
We have no idea. We just want to play
We
your
really
game.
have no idea.
Yeah. We just want to play your game. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
LJ, what have you been playing?
Okay, I've been playing a few things here. The most notable one is Saints Row, which is the reboot. It's like a soft reboot, to the series. It's been getting a lot of flack. I feel like partially for no reason. It's one of those games that people just hated on from the first trailer that came out. So you're not trying to be so it's basically people are complaining that it's very Gen Z, like trying to appeal to like Gen Z crowd. But it's like you're just a group of friends that are struggling to pay rent, and 2 of them are actually like part of 2 different gangs in the game. Things happen, and you basically, okay, well, why are we doing this for other people? Why are we working for other people? Let's just start our own, you know?
This just sounds like real life.
I thought.
I mean, doesn't it?
I thought Saints Row was like
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I don't want to play a
is
game where I have to
ridiculous.
struggle for rent.
No.
'cause that's just...
It is so. It is very ridiculous. The stories are like you work for this like military police thing, and you're already doing like jumping between cars and taking out helicopters, and doing all this crazy stuff. The missions are straight up silly, and that's what I like about like versus Grand Theft Auto. Like I feel like Grand Theft Auto is a lot like South Park, where it's just poking fun at everybody in the whole world. Whereas Saints Row is more like, it's almost like a Family Guy in a way, where it's just like, hey, we know we're stupid and dumb, and we're gonna embrace it. Like,
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
and that's the best way I can compare it. And it's just it feels different. Like I feel like I'm playing Saints Row, knowing that like yes, it is vulgar. It does have some very adult themes in it, but it's straight up just dumb and silly. That's all it wants to be. It's not trying to be this commentary on our world or anything like that. But it's fun, and it's getting a lot of flack. One thing which I understand this because it's reviews. You're not getting the final build most of the time, depending on how big the game is, and so like there was a lot of glitches and things like that, which are being patched out now. Which there has been multiple patches, and I think people are also upset that it's like it's not a game that has really changed since like the last couple that have come out. Like it still feels like a Saints Row game, and it still plays like a Saints Row game. It looks like a Saints Row game, and I'm like, yo, that's what I came here for. Like I don't need it to reinvent the wheel. I just need it to be Saints Row. So I'm okay with it. I think it's fun. I'm enjoying it for what it is.
Cool.
But that's just kind of like my little soapbox that me and a few friends have been on, because it's like, no, like this game actually isn't, it's not great. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys, oh, this is an 8 or a 9. I'm like, no, it's not great. But it's Saints Row. It's fun. So I think that maybe people who have played those games in the past are going to enjoy them, but probably not like a lot of new people.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where I'm at with Saints Row.
Cool.
And then I did get back into Rocket League, which according to Steam, apparently I have 51
Solid.
hours. Yeah, I have 51 hours in that game.
Let's
Wow.
go.
Me and my cousin have been playing it again, and we've been playing competitively, and like we're kind of like teetering between like gold and silver rank. So it's like it's nice to be like in a rank somewhere that's not like the most basic, like so.
Right.
I feel like we're playing solid enough to where it's like we're not winning every game, but we're not losing every game either. I feel like my skills are above average, so it's been fun to get back into, because it's been a while since I've played it. It's been a bit of time, so I'm always happy to go back to my comfort zone. So that's kind of what I've been up to in gaming.
That's awesome. What about you, Shelley?
I haven't been playing anything new. I mean, I did play a little bit more of Cult of the Lamb. There were some patches that came out, but it did fix some of the issues I was having, but then I kept running into other soft blocking issues, so played it for a little bit, put it back on the shelf. But at least there's some updates, right? At least there's some patches coming.
They're working on it, yeah.
The Switch. Which is good, because before, when I first got it, I was just like, I haven't heard anything, like, what's gonna happen? But anyway. But what I did do is I boot up Persona 5 Royal again. I'm still trying to 100% that game, so, it's very much going to be like a slow, long grind, right? So, I just got through the second palace, so that's how far I am there, and that game is still just so fun, but I love that it's just one thing where, whenever I'm in the mood, I can just pick it up and play it. I have a goal, I got, things I gotta do, but what I didn't realize is that there's a lot of, there's so much that gets carried over in New Game Plus, and I keep learning of new things. So what I learned was that there's actually a lot of skills and abilities that you get from social links with people. Because if you don't know, in this game, and actually most Persona games post maybe just at least 5 and 4, probably 3, except I don't know, and I don't know about the others. So I guess don't quote me on this.
I think 3 definitely does.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
at least in this game, stuff.
Yeah, there's social links. You connect with the characters in the game. Some of which are in your party, some of which are not. But when you get closer with these people, you actually gain abilities that can help you out either just in your regular life or a lot of times when you're battling. So, which is all very cool. What I didn't realize is that when I max ranked a lot of those characters in my last playthrough, which I did not max rank everyone, but I did max rank quite a few people. What I didn't realize is that a lot of those abilities, not all of them, actually carry over to New Game Plus, which is really cool. So, because I really wanted to max rank everybody, which I guess is part of the whole, like, 100%ing thing. But what's cool is that I'm like, okay, well, I've already 100%ed these characters, and they had really, really good abilities, which is why I wanted to 100% them. But now I don't feel the need to have to do it again and, like, waste time. I can, like, really focus on the ones I have not been able to get max rank with. So that's cool. But also, it's like, I'm so early on in the game that's like, I don't even know necessarily what to spend my time on. Because usually it's like you have to spend your time getting your social skills up, and my social skills are already maxed out. There's all the people I can meet up with are people I already maxed out in my last game. Like, as I was saying, like, I don't really need to hang out with them again. So really I'm having to just go to do the baseball pit, or like playing baseball, because there's a little baseball minigame. And you can swing and just hit balls as long as you want to, at least in the evening. I think you only get a couple chances in the daytime, but one of the trophies in the game is to get 30 home runs. So I need to, like, do that, but I can't, like, do it for, technically, if I was trying to be incredibly, what's the word? Like, if I just didn't want to waste time with my days that I have in Persona, probably would be ideal, optimal. That's what I'm thinking of. I don't know why I forgot this word. I'm having trouble speaking tonight, but optimally, it would make the most sense for me just sit down and get all home runs in one single go, but, like, I cannot. It is too hard for me. Like, I cannot get home runs consistently at all. I don't know. There's, like, a secret or something, maybe, but I don't know it. And I just kind of lose my mind. It's very monotonous, so I'm kind of just, like, going back every once in a while. That, and there's, like, a bathhouse that I did not go to enough in the first time around, and all it does is increase your charm. So my charm's already maxed, but there's a trophy that you have to go there 15 sometimes. So now I'm having to go back there. So it's just interesting trying to figure out. Yeah, exactly. It's been interesting trying to figure out how to spend my time, because there's certain things that the game kind of tries to point you to, saying like, hey, you should get a job, make money, up these skills, you should go here, you should hang out with these people. But for me, it's like, I don't really need to do these things. I just want to do things that actually help me get the trophies. So that's been fun. But that's it for me. I really haven't done anything new.
Nice.
Cool. Well, we get into the gaming news then. LJ, you said that you didn't, kind of just chose the big ones from Gamescom.
Yeah, so it's really weird. Like, there was a lot of trailers for stuff we already knew about. Some trailers for some, like, smaller, like, cool-looking stuff. But, I don't know. There just really wasn't a lot that I'm like, ooh, I need to talk about this on the podcast.
I was a little disappointed. I was hoping... I didn't really keep super on top of Gamescom news, but I just thought, well, if something really huge comes out of Gamescom, I'm gonna figure it out somehow, and I heard nothing.
Yeah, like, we didn't get an Elden Ring level announcement this time, which is what we did, like, last Gamescom. That's when they revealed the, like, release date and everything of that.
Which is interesting. But...
Yep. The thing that we got here, I believe that is one of the most intriguing and weirdest things, is that there's a game called Lies of P that's coming out next year, and it's a Bloodborne, like, Souls-like, and it's based on the Pinocchio. It's, like, based in the Pinocchio universe.
Such a weird concept.
The Pinocchio universe.
Yes. I honestly, I'll be honest, I haven't really seen a lot for this. I know there's new trailers out for it and stuff, but I'm like, people are clamoring for more Bloodborne, and at this point, like, we've just been getting games that are like Souls-likes and that have been, like, close but not the thing they want. But I feel like this game is the thing that's probably getting closest. So it's that gothic horror style look to it.
Reminds me of Bloodborne.
Yeah. Well, exactly. That's what I was just saying, is that it's very Bloodborne influenced. Like, it's crazy to think that game has been out long enough, and there's been no, like, 4K 5 updates or whatever. There's been no sequel, which people have been wanting a sequel. But, like, that's been out long enough to where people are already making games that are, like, inspired by that, you know? So somebody said, like, oh, there's no Bloodborne, but I'm going to make this game that's like it, you know? Or that bears some resemblance to it. So, that is coming out next year, and it is, I believe it's confirmed that it will come to PC and Xbox Game Pass day one.
Cool.
So, yeah, people can play that when it drops on Game Pass. The other thing that I wanted to put out there, just because like I'm personally excited for it, and this will be like the first brand new release that me and my nephew can enjoy together. But Sonic Frontiers actually has a release date for November 8th.
Cool.
So I'm excited.
I like that
everything.
It looks like old school Sonic. Like it's got the weirdness that Sonic 06 had. Hopefully no human kissing. But...
No. It is kind of like... It looks like they're still using that same partially that same engine that they've been using since like Sonic Colors.
Yeah.
Because there was like the parts where it would switch to like 2D, you know? Mm-hmm. The kind of like the stuff we saw out of like Sonic Forces, I guess, is most relevant. Yeah. But like, so there's going to be like levels, they've said, and there's going to be like open areas. Yeah. It looks like there's an interesting new like force he's having to deal with. It doesn't like I haven't seen Robotnik anywhere yet.
Yeah, crazy.
But it looks cool. I'm excited.
I'm surprised they haven't done this yet. Like it looks like Mario 64's like the sandbox levels, right? So you go in and you get kind of a 3D world, but not. It's not like a linear level this time, or a wider 3D. I don't know. It's gonna be weird.
Yep.
Those big.
I was gonna say he's joining the Weird Arm Club.
Yep.
Did you guys see that trailer? He like got hit in the arm and he's like had a weird arm and I'm just like,
yes,
no, he's joining that club.
Yep.
I just think that's funny. I like that trend. I'm such a huge fan of Princess Mononoke that like honestly anytime anyone uses like that trope, I love it. It's a good fun trope. Like oh my gosh, my arm is evil.
Like Devil May Cry and stuff like that. Like
Yes, I love it all. It's like
Breath of the Wild 2. Doesn't he got a weird thing going on?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, exactly. So I'm like very hyped for that. Man, can we please can we get more Breath of the Wild 2 news? Like we went through all the major announcement shows over the summer
there's
and
supposed
got
to be
nothing.
There's supposed to be a treehouse, I think, at some point. I didn't know if that was confirmed or not.
Okay, I really hope so.
But yeah, so I'm excited for Sonic Frontiers. The GameStop has a sweet looking steelbook. Like if you pre-order it, so I'm like, I want that steelbook. I already know I'm spending money on 2 copies of this game, and I'm probably gonna wait till Christmas to give it to my nephew, so that like by the time he gets it, like I'm gonna know all about this game.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. It's just it's gonna be a fun time, I think, as I get to enjoy that, and I feel like I've really been embracing. I'm like, I don't care if people talk crap about Sonic. I love Sonic. It's my childhood.
Yeah, no, I think again, I like how it's gonna have maybe open world-esque elements,
and they're
but
trying
it's not
some new things.
open world, so
yeah,
exactly. It's that's what I encourage. You know, like it doesn't even need to be 100% open world. As long as it has some of those elements, it can really help your game. So
yeah. And then the last piece of news I wanted to mention that's not Gamescom related necessarily, but Sony has acquired a mobile game studio. So
weird.
They have said that they want to get back. They want to have a mobile division. I guess they're working on a mobile division, which is also weird to me because it's like this isn't their first time they've tried that. You know, like they had the phone thing that they did. They had what they were called like PlayStation Minis, and there were these things. They were like small indie games you could play on your PSP or your phone if you had one of the like special phones or whatever.
I want more of. Do you remember the original Watch Dogs where you could get on your phone and you could mess with someone else's game?
Oh yeah, that was like a companion app too. Yeah,
it was such a cool concept.
Yeah, so
Give me more of that.
That was during an age of like companion app games. I remember one of the Assassin's Creed games had a companion app, in which like you can actually look at the map and look at like the things you need to do like
Mm-hmm.
without like having to hit like pause or whatever.
Also a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
I used it, I think, a little bit. Was it Red Dead 2? I think did it.
Red Dead. I think the first Red Dead might have had it. I don't
Red
remember.
Dead 2 had a companion app, and I was using it for
Did
my
they
map.
have one? Interesting.
Because
I know something did because that sounds familiar.
Anyways.
You know what? Red Dead might have actually had something like that. Red Dead 2. Now that I think about it. But no, like this is like straight up games. Like they're saying that they want to make like a AAA action release, on our phones.
It did. Right.
So let's see. It's called, I think, Savage Game Studios is the name, and I think it's a staff of like a bunch of people who have like worked for other big companies.
Mobile phones work really well for RPGs, and I wish that more RPGs that weren't this weird pay-to-win type stuff would be made. Like, I'll just pay $15 for a small indie RPG if you let me.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't.
Well, like what is it? Apple Arcade has, is it Fantasian or something? Like stuff like that, and I think it's like a turn-based thing too. But it's stuff like that. I think is perfect for mobile.
Yeah, there was, what's that game called? I played it a little bit. It was a Chrono Trigger. It was a Chrono Trigger creators. Someone will know what I'm talking about. But the story kept going and going, which was annoying. Like it didn't really ever end. And then you'd pay for new characters. And I was like, I don't want to pay for new characters. I just want to like play a
always
game
some kind
on
of
my
funky
phone.
paywall. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish games could be more that way on phones. Like I know there's some, but
like if you do that,
Yeah.
people will come. They just need to get away from this mobile money mindset.
which is I was gonna say they should look at Nintendo and see what went wrong with Nintendo's mobile games. Though I did like Mario Run.
What went wrong with Nintendo's mobile games?
I mean, like I don't know, like they just haven't been that successful. Like
They've made so much
I mean,
money.
I mean they've made money, I guess, but like
That's all
I
they
don't know.
care about,
Yeah.
to be fair.
I don't know.
Like,
It's just like
we may not like the Nintendo mobile games, but they made so much money, Nintendo doesn't care. That's the problem.
I guess
Same
that's
with,
Mario Kart
true.
was really good.
Like I've not heard of
It doesn't
anything.
matter.
I've not heard of anybody say anything positive about a few Nintendo games. Like aside from a few people like us, like Magikarp Jump was weirdly addicting. Mario Run, I liked Mario Run. I played the crap out of that.
I kind of forgot
guess-
about those. I was thinking of like Fire Emblem Heroes, and I was
Yeah,
thinking
well, Fire
of,
Emblem Heroes was and that's the thing is like I think I'm thinking of
Another
stuff
one.
like Pocket Camp and like the Mario Kart one
Oh yeah, and
there's-
the Mario Kart one.
because
Yeah.
there are a
Pocket
few.
Camp
I
could
think
have been a companion thing to the new Animal
Yes.
Crossing. Would have been really cool.
Could have been.
yeah, and so I think
been
that's
huge.
that's what I'm thinking of more is like the last couple recent ones I think were the ones that were like people had problems with.
Another Eden is the
I
name
see
of that
what you mean.
RPG I was talking about.
Another Eden?
The art style is
Oh, yeah.
not great, but I heard the story is amazing. But yeah, they want you to buy characters.
What was that? What was that RPG one that Nintendo did too? That one
They have
lasted for a couple
I'm
years.
trying to remember.
They have an
It's
Octopath
like,
out that seems interesting.
Oh, the
Oh,
Square,
I forgot
yeah.
about that. I know which one
Oh.
you're talking about because they did like
They did a crossover with Fire Emblem. I know.
crossover with Fire Emblem and dang, I don't remember.
Because that one went strong for a few years, but I think it might be.
I have a cool controller for my phone, and I can never use it on anything interesting.
All right. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm trying to remember though, but I want PlayStation to actually maybe like put some solid like video game style things instead of like money grabbers,
Yeah.
like you were saying.
I would love...
That would be awesome.
Back in the day, we're talking about companion stuff. Back in the day, GameCube, you could have the Game Boy Advance hookup, and I remember like I could take my chows with me on road trips from Sonic Adventure 2, bring that full circle, and then I could play with my train my chows on my trips, and so like make mobile games like that it's like it's a full game in itself, or like a Pokemon Stadium. Full game in itself, and then you can like hook that up to your Sony account on whatever new game you're playing, and then it like data transfers over. You get a new item, or you get a character from your phone, or whatever.
That'd be cool.
Man, someone should pay me.
Anyway, that's
I got
just
ideas,
kind
Sony.
of that's
They're
just kind
just-
of what's been happening with Sony and their mobile market. That's like fresh news, I think, as of like the last couple days. So
Yes.
we'll see what
I have
happens with
ideas,
that, see
Sony,
if
but they're
anything
mostly
comes
for
out of it.
Nintendo.
Yeah, so we can move on.
Cool. We'll get into the movies then. None of us watched a movie this week.
Did none of us watch a movie?
Summer's been weird, and we'll talk about this
It's
in a little
our fault
bit.
they're having National Theater Day.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
We're
going to be talking about...
We're going to talk about it in just a minute. But Shelley, you were saying, like, movie theaters have been at the lowest point. But I can't, like, there's been nothing that I've been like, I have to go see that.
And then I think last week I watched like
for a
2,
while.
though, you know, like, or the previous week.
Yeah.
So
You go to the theater a lot more. I haven't since the pandemic really gone to theaters like I used to. We used to go every week.
yeah, and then like this weekend I didn't do anything. Like I didn't even stream this weekend. I just like stayed inside and just relaxed. So you know, like,
Which is good.
I didn't do
Releases
anything.
are just definitely like, I don't know. The releases aren't as big as they used to be.
It's hard because we got so used to streaming over, especially with the pandemic. Like those kind of coincide where it's like we had the pandemic / I guess it's still kind of going, but people got really, really used to being able to just stay home and like stream whatever they want.
Yeah.
And going to the theater was kind of dangerous.
I also have
and
movies...
then it kind of got to a point where it's like, even if there's movies coming out of the theater, well, it's also coming out on streaming services.
Yeah, because like stuff comes out pretty quickly with like theater at home, and then it's like I think of like I still have movies I buy on sale on Vudu all the time that like I still haven't watched. Like I bought The Northman like a month ago, and I'm like I haven't even watched that yet. So yeah.
That's true. And at least for me, I feel like I've been watching way more shows than I have movies at this point, and part of that could also just be because all these shows, original shows, come to streaming services. You don't have to get a cable service just to watch random shows. You can just binge watch shows. Why spend
And some of them are
2
movie
hours
grade.
watching a movie when you could spend 2 hours watching a show? You know? So, I don't know. All theories. Don't actually know.
I'll
all
let you
being
segue
said,
that into the news if you want, Shelley.
Exactly, yeah. I was
Yeah,
just
go
going
for
to say,
it.
all this being said, there's a couple theaters, not just a couple theaters, I just mean a couple theater companies around the nation that are sort of coming together and creating a National Cinema Day.
You're
Because
making
the
that up.
last 2 weekends were the lowest box offices for 2022.
Yeah.
Just the last couple weekends. And part of that could just be because of what movies are in there. Part of it could be what we've just been talking about. Part of it could be because tickets are still pretty expensive. Because that's an entire other layer that we didn't even talk about. It's not just the luxury of being able to be
it's got
home. It's
pricey.
the tickets. And obviously you pay for streaming services, but when it's subscription based, you don't really think about it every day, you know, when you're buying the ticket. So kind of an effort to try to bring people back into theaters, especially after such terrible box office weekends. These theaters are having this National Cinema Day. I believe it's September 3rd, and you could buy a ticket for a movie for only $3, which is a really good deal. So there's a couple movies available for this. I think it's just the movies that are in theater, right? So, well, we have a Spider-Man No Way Home back. They basically add stuff, so you can watch that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also League of Super Pets, Beast, Bullet Train, Dragon Ball Superhero, which is what we already, or Dragon Ball Superhero, sorry, which is what we talked about last week a little bit, about how that really is what's been making any money in the box office
I
recently.
know. Everyone's talking about Dragon Ball. It's wonderful.
And actually, I think that's it. Yeah. So that's pretty exciting. I know. Oh, maybe that was just one company. I know Rogue One was in theaters for a little bit, like this last week.
Yeah, it
Or
was.
this week.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that applied here, but probably not.
That might. I mean, you can always check your theater. I think it's 3,000 theaters are doing this.
And my own little small theater next to my house is doing it too, which is exciting. Like,
That's cool.
because that, like, I was worried about that theater when COVID happened because I'm like, this is a small theater. Is it gonna even last? But they're doing this too.
I thought the Spider-Man No Way Home thing was real dumb, but for $3.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for
I mean, if
$3,
you like the
that's a
movie
good time.
enough, it could be fun, and I totally think that's valid. I think it can be valid to. I mean, my local theaters sometimes will. Actually, I think every summer they have like a Studio Ghibli series, right? Well, they'll just have Studio Ghibli movies you could just like watch in theaters, and I think it's really cool. I haven't actually been able to go do it, but I want to. They'll just, you know, every week is a different movie. So, and I think that's honestly what stuff like this and stuff like that theaters are gonna have to just do, because people don't really care about new movies anymore. I don't know. It's
this. Oh, I was gonna say this is a good group of movies for $3. Like if you want to go see Dragon Ball for $3, that's a pretty decent watch. Like for that price. Bullet Train is also a fun watch. Beast I haven't seen yet, but I've heard decent things about it. I feel like this is a solid group. Like you're not gonna have a weekend like this during some big blockbuster release.
For sure.
So I think this is a good weekend to do this.
Yeah, and of course it is Labor Day weekend. You know, I know I'm going to be out of town. Other people will be out of town.
That's
if
a good
you're
point too.
not leaving, or maybe you are going out of town and just feel like watching a movie, you can look into this and see if that's an option at the local theater, because that could be fun. And I don't necessarily want theaters to go away, but it is not looking so great for theaters in the future, just regarding streaming services.
It's the experience. I love the experience.
Yeah, but then it's like streaming services are also kind of being sketchy too. We talked about HBO Max and them just pulling stuff, and now you can just not access any of that material.
Yeah.
I don't know. Media is crazy. But that's that. The other two things I want to talk about, very, very small bits of news. We have an image revealed for Hocus Pocus 2. I know we mentioned Hocus Pocus 2. Or
someone's excited about it, I'm
Hocus
sure.
Pocus getting a sequel.
It's
yeah.
nostalgic for me, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure just coming directly to Disney Plus, but either way, we have our first image, and it's of Billy Butcherson, who's like that zombie. So he's back. I totally forgot about him in the first movie, I think because all I remember from the first movie, I've seen it in the last, year or two, but the only things I remember from the movie are the three witches, and that's probably... I don't know. That's probably not very surprising. That's all everyone ever talks about anyway. But anyway.
I mean, that's been the marketing for the second one. It's like, I don't know who else is in this movie except for this character and the witches.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And honestly, they may be the only recurring characters. I wouldn't be surprised if it's an entirely different new set of children.
Same.
Or whatever that they're harassing.
But they do have the
It's just the same children from the movie. They're all adults. And they're like, why won't you leave us alone?
That would be, I guess, that could be enjoyable. But I just assume they're going to have an entirely
like an adult version to where they actively take weapons to him and try to kill him.
Oh my gosh.
I want it.
Gritty reboot.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the shot looks good, and honestly, if anything, it's just kind of getting me excited for Halloween season coming.
This is Halloween.
But I'm already kind of ready for fall, and this is kind of a reminder for that. Like, oh yes, I can watch spooky movies, and it's not weird. So there's that. And then the last thing is we got a little snippet, little news, little, I don't even know what you call it, post, literally an Instagram post from the director for Godzilla vs. Kong, the sequel. And he just posted saying that we're starting production. It's kind of a fun little video. You could hear Godzilla and Kong screaming in the background. They're just going, ah! And he's like, oh, they're here. I gotta go get him.
Also, Shelley accidentally said Kongzilla earlier before we started the podcast.
Yeah.
And I Googled it, and I was not let down. I just want to throw that out there.
That's awesome.
Is it actually like a mix between Kong and Godzilla?
Yeah,
like,
it's
or is it
scaly.
Like being shipped?
It's like a big Kong. No, it's not a ship.
Okay. I just want to
it's like scaly like Godzilla, and it's got a long neck like Godzilla, but Kong's face on that lizard head, and then
That's
he's
amazing.
got the big biceps and arms of Kong. It looked wonderful.
That's awesome. But
Toy
anyway, that's for those who are really excited for that movie.
I'm a sucker.
production, officially.
I'm like, I'm raising my hand here. Like,
Yeah.
I was excited
no,
until I knew that
it's-
Kongzilla was a thing.
I'm just like, we don't absolutely need this, but I do.
No,
absolutely
absolutely
need
not.
this. Like,
They're gonna team up in this. I read too.
We absolutely do not need this, but I'm also just like, I'm buckling in. I'm ready.
Or
for the
kaiju
ride.
action's always fun.
Yes, I'm ready for the ride.
There's no harm. That's all our news.
Cool. We will get into TV news then. Not TV news. We'll get into what we're watching. How to do it. Shelley, what are you watching?
I am still watching through TMNT.
Cool.
But we are almost on season 4. Like, we're really close to getting to season 3, and I don't think we're going to watch all of it. So, because I've asked Daniel, I'm like, when should we, watch? And I think he said minimum we need to watch through season 3, but we could watch season 4. But probably after that we don't need to watch. So,
have you seen Ren into Usagi yet?
Yes.
Yes, I love Usagi, the rabbit.
Yeah.
That dude's my favorite.
Episode
He's got his own comic series and everything.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
So that's cool. Yeah, it's still fun to watch. I think it's funny how they did the multiverse thing before Marvel. They did the multiverse thing before. Yeah, they did all this multiverse stuff before.
Yep.
Like, we just watched these episodes where it's honestly such a ridiculous show, but it's fun. Like, it's a good type of ridiculous where, like, you got these villains who fell into this weird phenomenon in the sky, and then they merge into becoming one villain. They exist purely for revenge. Like, they're the pettiest guys you've ever met, and they just want Leonardo and Splinter to suffer for some reason. And so they, like, found a way to control time, and then they yeet all of the turtles into other like multiverses, other universes, and it's just so funny. It's like it's they basically drop into what if episodes. We got like Mikey went into one where the turtles are all superheroes, and Donatello went into one where it's like a post-apocalyptic future where Shredder actually like rules the world, and it's like really messed up, and it's all very fun. I love that kind of cheese. But it's also just so incredibly ridiculous. It might as well be anime at this point, right? Because
by the end, I could see that. Yeah,
it's like they fight against this. Again, it's two villains in one body. It's a combined man and dragon man. So it's a big man dragon man who can control time, but then also gets another really powerful object that can do other things apparently, and then they end up defeating him and all this stuff. Sorry for spoilers, it's a 2003 show, but it's just crazy. It's fun, it's crazy, but also I just think it's funny how it's like, yeah, multiverses is not a new concept. They did it before, and honestly, I would argue that they do it better than MCU at this point, because I'm way more interested in these other universes than they did in like Multiverse of Madness. I didn't care about the other universes in Multiverse of Madness. What If was somewhat interesting, right?
You're making me want to watch Ninja Turtles, and I don't.
That should be.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I know. That 2003 series is really good though. It really is. Like, it's fun.
So funny.
Yeah. Kind of slaps. But anyway, that's what where I'm at there. But again, as soon as we finish this, we're going to be doing Teen Titans, and I'm very excited for that.
Nice.
Cool. What about you, LJ?
Let's see. So, the other show I've been watching other than She-Hulk is I started picking up My Hero Academia again.
Ooh.
Basically right where I left off, and I feel like I left off somewhere in like season 3. I think they're getting into like season 5 or something now too, in like October. So I'm like catching up, but I feel like I'm gonna get on a big anime kick here pretty soon, because pretty soon I'm gonna start playing that One Punch Man game too, and I need to catch up on One Punch Man.
Which One Punch Man game?
The hero nobody knows.
Is that the fighting game?
Yes.
It's so bad.
I know it's bad. I'm gonna be streaming that. I know that it's
all right. As long as you know, I got it.
I'm gonna be streaming it just for comedy purposes on my own channel. Like, I have a feeling it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
Because if it's anything, I think it's from the same people that did Jump Force, and that game was rough too. So I'm just like,
that doesn't surprise me.
I'm gonna give it a shot and see. Like, I don't know how long I'm gonna be playing it, but I'm just like, I feel like I should be catching up on One Punch Man as well before I play that. So I don't know.
I think One Punch Man got confirmed for a 3rd season.
Ooh, nice.
Recently, I saw that.
That's awesome.
I heard that news.
So, I plan on getting on a big anime kick here pretty soon, because apparently October has a bunch of releases too. Like Chainsaw Man is coming out, and like there's a lot of other big like anime that are. I think Spy Family Part 2 is coming out in October as well. So it's like I'm revving up for a kick here. So
sweet.
Cool.
Yeah,
love to hear it.
And then I don't know. I guess we can talk about She-Hulk. You want to talk about She-Hulk at all?
Yeah,
Not much
we can get
can
into
say, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. It's more of episode 1, but less Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the show. Which I didn't expect Mark Ruffalo in it. Like, to be honest,
One of the best
I'm
jokes is made in this show out of any MCU thing ever.
I don't even want to spoil that.
Yeah,
because
but I will say that. It was gold.
It's like it was the best joke.
Just a quick one-liner, everybody. Not that anything to worry about. Don't want to overhype
but
it.
But it was so good that it's just one of those things. I'm like, I'm not going to spoil it. Because
it was great.
You gotta be there.
The only thing I know from She-Hulk so far is one. There was a picture like when the first episode I want to say was first released, and it was like screenshots of her talking about like how she can handle her anger really well because she's a woman, which I'm not going to comment on per se. But that and weird edits of her clapping with weird noises on her clapping. Like the Taco Bell noises, or the Vine
funny.
boom, or the default alarm noise for like iPhone, and it's really funny.
Weird.
But those are the only two things
I know the
it's all
scene.
about
I know
She-Hulk.
the scene that you're referring to.
Yeah, she's like clapping and like creating sound waves, but it's like edited, I think, faster. I'm pretty sure it's edited to be way faster, so it looks really weird and funny. But people just edit weird sounds on top of that, and
That's
it's
awesome.
hilarious.
See, part of me wants to explain the context, but I'm not going to.
You probably don't.
So
need it.
so that way
I will
when you
say-
that way when you do watch it, you'll be like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
something that I think a lot of people are going to miss. And there's a lot of news stories about it, but I think it's really cool if you freeze a frame in it. I'm going to mention this because most people are going to miss this. No one's going to read it. It is she's on a computer and it's in like the side of a news website, news blog that she's on.
Sure.
And it just simply says that a man with claws gets in bar fight, or man gets in bar fight with metal claws, something like that. Anyways, Wolverine.
No way,
teased.
Wolverine.
I was
No
like,
way.
Pretty cool.
Pretty exciting.
I definitely
the
didn't catch it
Eternals
in the show.
The Eternals finally got a nod too.
Yeah. Why is there a giant statue of a
Why
man
is there a
sticking out of the
giant
ocean?
man in
They
the water?
finally bring that up?
Kind of.
Holy cow,
I mean,
been
it's
so long. They should have
literally
brought
a
that up
tiny little-
immediately.
Yeah.
Tiny little blurb, a side headline on a news blog.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I still don't have a problem with this show. I know people do, but I know some people do and just got kind of meh on it. But I'm on board with it so far.
It's
I
just
think
existing
fun.
for me right now. I'm watching it. It's fun.
It's achieving the thing that I knew or I expected it would so far. But we are getting into some big things that are probably going to be happening. So I think once that kind of gets rolling, that's whenever the show's
But
gonna
it
start
won't,
rolling.
because that's how Marvel TV shows work.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll
do still
build up
have-
to that like last episode, and then everything will be answered super, super fast in the last episode.
What is it, like 8
That's
episodes
always
now,
how it
though?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think we're getting, which also, that last episode felt like it flew by super fast.
Yeah, it was.
I'm like,
I was like
that was
it.
way too quick.
I think it was only a 30-minute episode, so.
They could have done a
32.
2-episode premiere the week before, and that would have been fine.
Yeah. But it's fun. It's good.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it, though.
The other thing I've been watching, and this is going to be kind of, I don't know, controversial, is House of the Dragon, which is the Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is such a weird spot, or was. It always it blew my mind, because Game of Thrones was this like all Christians were like, can't watch Game of Thrones. It has the nudities. And then the last season came out, and everybody, including like every Christian personality, was talking about watching the finale.
Is that the one with the character in Multiverses? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Arya Stark from it. It was such
I
a
know.
weird thing,
Everyone
phenomenon
did.
for me,
Everyone
because I was
did,
like,
yeah.
even on the podcast, I was like, I probably shouldn't talk about Game of Thrones. Like, don't want anyone, like, judging the podcast because I'm watching the show. And then everybody was like, oh no, we've been watching the whole time. We've just been quiet about it. Be the real you. Don't.
We're a bunch
don't-
of heathens. We're playing Saints Row and watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Cult of the Lamb
And playing cult
Cult of the Lamb,
games.
Everyone's gonna unfollow. I will say, House of the Dragon, it seems to, I don't want to promise this, but it seems to tame down the nudity a little bit so far. There's a brothel in the first episode, and so there's nudity there, which kind of makes sense. The second episode, I don't believe there was any nudity at all, which is exciting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Is it Matt Smith?
Matt Smith is one of the characters, and he is doing amazing, and I'm so proud of him, because the last few movies I've seen him act in, I've been like, Yeah, buddy.
It's Morbin time.
What's up with Game of Thrones having to kidnap every British actor or British famous person?
Because they have to do an accent.
And put them...
They have the Game of Thrones accent.
Yeah. I just think it's funny.
There's an actor in this, I can't remember his name, but I was amazed that he wasn't in the first Game of Thrones because he's in every medieval thing I've ever watched.
Yeah. When I think of Game of Thrones, I never watched any, like, Game of Thrones at all, but there was apparently one episode where a clip I saw with Ed Sheeran. And I'm just
yeah.
It's so funny to me. Like, Game of Thrones is like MCU. MCU kidnaps every actor ever, whereas Game of Thrones kidnaps specifically British actors. I just think it's funny.
Is this... What's
Ed
his real
Sheeran
name?
isn't even an actor. He's just a famous guy. So.
What?
Yes, Graham McTavish is who I'm thinking of. He's in, like, any medieval thing ever made.
That name does sound familiar.
And I'm like, I can't believe wasn't in the first Game of Thrones. No, really, really excited about Matt Smith. He's playing a very serious role. It's not goofy. I feel like with Morbius, he was he basically had to be the Doctor, but evil.
Homie was doing that one for the check.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
He's really having
From
to
what I
act in
heard,
this.
from, like, the 2 people who watched it, he, like, played his heart out, kind of. Like, he tried really hard and was, like, having a
He
good
was
time.
the Doctor, but with, like,
Yeah.
but a bad guy.
Evil intentions.
Yeah, he was
exactly.
goofy, and,
Which,
like,
you
he's
know
not
what?
goofy in this at all. He plays this, like,
That's fine.
real tough, I don't want to give anything away, but he's, like, the knight that does the joust, and he does dirty moves in the joust because he's big and bad.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah, tough guy. So, really, really enjoying his character. It's really cool. But, that said, there is nudity. It is more Game of Thrones. If you were uncomfortable with Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon 1 isn't going to make much sense to you because it's a prequel to the Game of Thrones series. I would definitely assume that you should watch that before you watch this. And 2, like I said, it's just more Game of Thrones. So, if you didn't like that, probably not going to want to watch this at all. Same content. But yeah, I feel much more comfortable talking about it after everybody and their mom was talking about Game of Thrones finale when it came out.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It was like a
weird.
cultural phenomenon, and it was like,
Yep.
us were kind of, or not necessarily us, but just like, yeah, Christians in general. A lot of us were like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Putting a boundary there, right?
Yeah.
It's totally perfectly fine to put a boundary. But it's so funny how that used to be the only sort of critique anyone would say about Game of Thrones was like, yeah, it's a lot of nudity, just don't feel comfortable about that, which again, totally valid. But then immediately, anytime anyone brings up Game of Thrones now, like, literally everyone's like, oh wow, that finale sucked.
Yes,
And
that
it's so
finale.
funny, but it's also like, it just reminds me how you always, I don't know why, this is definitely a tangent, so I apologize for just like making this show go longer. But it does remind me how many times people will get like tattoos or like make a really serious like commitment to something that's related to Game of Thrones or just like a show in general, right? They'll be like,
And they
this is my
live it.
favorite character, I'm gonna get a tattoo of this person, or I'm gonna name my
People name their kids
Kid.
Daenerys.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm like. It's a lesson. It's just a reminder. You have to wait a long time. I would personally even say you have to wait a long time until after that series or book series or movie has been around and finished for you to like make those commitments, because like at this point I think like Avatar: Last Airbender might be safe, but then again they're creating content in the future, so it's kind of like,
Yeah.
look, I don't
bad.
know. But all I'm saying is like Harry Potter, like everyone hates J.K. Rowling now, so do you regret your Harry Potter tattoo? I don't know, maybe people do. It's just like crazy to me. It's like that's what it's like. It's so scary to like try to get something as such. I think of tattoos as kind of the main like big permanent thing I think of, or yeah, like name your kid. It's like maybe don't name
Daenerys,
your
by the
kid.
way. I know I said that weird. I don't want to know like that's how he said that name.
Oh, it's okay. But
It's like the people that get their significant other's name tattooed on them.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's
the
like
same thing.
Mine's the
Like,
opposite.
why?
I wanted for the longest time the Not of This World logo tattooed, and I'm so glad that I didn't do that. Because
It's literally a
nobody knows
brand.
what Not of This World is anymore.
Yeah, wow. I don't know. Every once in a while really, really want a video game related tattoo. I just think it'd be so cool. And then I think of situations like this, or, any media. Video games is just one example, but like any sort of media, like get a tattoo of it. But then I think of situations like Game of Thrones, like, probably shouldn't
Yeah.
do that thing. Get something that's eternal, or get something that means nothing. No in between.
No in between.
no in between. You're gonna regret it.
My rule for tattoos. This is such a weird thing for the podcast.
I'm so sorry. I just got in this weird tangent.
But it's not a terrible. Like, it makes sense though.
Yeah. And I guess my rule doesn't really work. I guess I would wait a year after Game of Thrones was done. My rule is wait a year after wanting to get a tattoo to actually get it.
Nice.
But if I would have wanted it in the middle of Game of Thrones and then gotten one after, I would have regretted it still. So I don't know. Maybe you need to wait a year after that show's done.
What tattoo would you get that's Game of Thrones?
I wouldn't. My next tattoo, if I get one, is Gyarados.
Which I think, again, I feel like maybe Pokemon's safe enough. It's kind of eternal at this point in a little bit, but I don't know. It scares me knowing that like all these creators are just turning out to be terrible people. And I'm like, what if
my thing with Gyarados is like the meaning behind him for me would be it'd be more important to me than like the creator that it's Pokemon anyways. It's I agree. I think that's a cool concept of struggling to get to the top or the help of your friends to get to the top.
Yeah, I like that a lot. No, I think that's really cool. But anyway, that was apologize for the weird tangent.
No, but you're right though.
Yeah, it was a good life advice.
Yeah,
I guess. As someone who doesn't have any tattoos yet,
we can teach you through House of the Dragon. That's what this podcast is for. Give you good life advice on getting tattoos and things. You're welcome. We'll get to the TV news then. I don't know where to start. Let's see. Twisted Metal is wrapped filming. Another show that we probably shouldn't be endorsing on the podcast, I'm assuming. I mean, it's not out yet, but...
that is knowing Twisted Metal. That is going to be...
I'm surprised it's on Peacock. It feels very much like an HBO Max type of show.
It was going to be... I think somebody else was going to do it, but then I think Peacock picked it up.
It seems like a weird thing for Peacock to pick up.
It does.
I kind of hope that they'll turn it on its head and it's just a super serious drama. Don't think that's what it would be. I hope it's Twisted Metal. I don't know.
It's gonna be very metal.
Yeah. But there's no release dates or anything. It's just that it's done. It's wrapped filming, so we'll probably get a trailer, I would assume, by November. Or early winter.
Yeah.
We'll see. And then the other two pieces of news are Umbrella Academy news. So two things are happening. Umbrella Academy Season 4 has been announced. It will be the final season of Umbrella Academy. Fantastic, fantastic show. Also has that rated M for mature label, so kind of keep that in mind. But it's quirky and it's weird. If you want quirky and weird, Gerard Way, is the lead singer of My Chemical Romance. He wrote the comic books for it. And it's very eclectic, I think is the best word to describe it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think this announcement is... I probably won't watch Season 3 right away, but I think it's the push to get me to watch Season 3. I think Season 2... I watched it like crazy. I was like addicted, right? Because it's a really good show. But then I think by the end of it, and you know, even when Season 3 was like announced, I was like, well... The show's so weird. Like, how much more do I have to care about this? How much longer? Because I can't commit that many brain cells to this. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah. So
honestly, if they're going to end it with Season 4, who knows? Maybe I'll even wait till Season 4 is out and then just watch Season 3 and 4. I just like knowing that there's an end, you know? If it was just going to keep going and going and going,
I don't know if I actually mentioned that. It's the final season.
You did.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm glad that it's one of those things of like, it's an amazing show, but this last season felt like it needed to end soon. There's just so much you could do, and they've done it all kind of thing at this point. It's weird.
There's so many times the world can end. There's so many like villains that can come. There's so many, you know, it's a superhero show in the end, technically. So
yeah, I mean, the basis of the show is that all these superhero kids are screw ups, and they make the end of the world happen, and then they have to go and fix it. That's been every season so far, I believe. I don't remember season 1 super well, but and then
season 1,
yeah. I don't know. I like it though. I'm not saying it's a bad show. It's just you can only do the same thing so many times. The other piece of news about Horizon Zero Dawn, and what's exciting about this is the creator, and we're not Gerard Way, not the comic book creator, but the show creator, who is Steve Blackman. He'll be working on the Horizon Zero Dawn Netflix show, which I think is pretty cool. But also kind of scary.
A weird connection. Like, those are
Random.
entirely different parts of, like, I have them compartmentalized in my brain, just completely separate areas. Like, they don't connect at all. You know?
Like, I don't want Horizon Zero Dawn to be zany. I think what I love about that game, and I need to play the new one, is that the idea is so, like, juvenile and out there. Like, if you were to describe that game, you're like, you fight dinosaur robots. Robot dinosaurs. And, like, that sounds super silly, but the game, like, took itself so seriously. And everything was so, like, well done within that. And, like, I feel the opposite with this creator. And maybe Blackman will maybe he'll be able to kind of ring that in, and, like, make that happen and make it serious by taking a zany concept. We'll see. I don't know. Robot dinosaurs.
I'd be curious to see what the show would be about.
Yeah, it's gonna be,
because I haven't finished Forbidden West, but it just seems like this show should not be about Aloy.
Okay, that'd be cool.
Like we've already seen so much of Aloy.
Yeah.
And also, I think it'd just be kind of weird to see her in person or in real IRL. And you know what I'm talking about, live action. My gosh,
you start getting into Halo levels of like, what are they gonna do with this? And you know, how are they
I'm
gonna
sure it'll
portray
just
this?
be the first game
about Aloy
translated into a show, because that's
really, they should just.
I don't like that either.
People.
But I feel like that's what they always do. So.
Yep.
That's not my choice. My choice would be.
Well, it should be.
Like the dude and the
you
DLC.
You should be the one making the decisions.
I should.
Like, why aren't you hired right now?
I could, if I just had to make ideas. I can't even. It's not even an idea. I need them to give me an idea, and then I need to tell them how to fix the idea. If that was my job, I could do really well.
People get hired for that. The only problem is really, really, really famous and people who have been doing this thing for a long time hire people, and they usually hire like friends and people they know. But I don't know, maybe you can make it a career goal.
Yeah, I would definitely tell people
be
what they're doing wrong.
a professional devil's advocate or something.
Yes. I'm like, this sounds cool, but
imagine having that job title.
Professional devil's advocate.
Like, I want DC to hire me. That would be the. Tell DC everything they're doing wrong.
Yeah, I could use the help.
Yeah, no joke. All right, that is. That's the show. Are you geeking out about anything else this week, guys?
I am.
Yeah.
Only because I have had it on repeat all weekend.
I heard it once.
But so
you gotta
DJ
explain what's
Khaled,
going on here. I was surprised.
Okay, so DJ Khaled released this album called God Did, and it's more of a thing. Like, I haven't listened to the whole album now. The most of the album is not worth listening to, because it's the album itself is a very secular way of looking at God, because the whole theme of the main song is nobody believed in us, but God did. And I'm like, yes, but God isn't necessarily the reason that you're rich and famous and you have all these things.
Okay.
But what Eminem did, this is what I'm getting to, is, which I feel like Kanye is, it's a lot for show for Kanye now, because Kanye put out that album a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it seems for show, just for show for him these days, at least in my opinion. Like, I was hoping, hey, cool, maybe his songs changed some lives, maybe they did have an impact. Awesome. But the dude is he's just for show right now. But what Eminem did on this, so he did actually Dr. Dre produced the remix to use this gospel. And Eminem went on there and dropped this whole verse and basically professed his beliefs and his faith in literally saying, like, naming Jesus as his savior and his shepherd and things like that. And a lot of the discussion that people are having, like, oh, is it real or is it this and that? And I'm just like, I feel like people, like, you know, this doesn't mean he's Christian, which it doesn't. It really does not mean he's a Christian. From having listened to his music for a while, I know he is a believer of some kind, because he's had other songs where he's mentioned that, you know, he gives credit to God for his sobriety and him being alive. He did a song with Yellow Wolf that's called Best Friend, which is a very secular way to look at God, basically saying like, oh well, if you mess with me, like you have to meet my best friend, like. But in this verse he drops is just like straight up, like it sounds like a verse you would hear out of a Christian hip hop song, like straight up. But and he talks about like, so his whole thing ever since recovery has been like, actually even before that, his whole thing has been Slim Shady versus Marshall Mathers. He knows he has this other side of him that like gives into things and temptations and sin and stuff, but this verse, he just like laid it out, and I'm just like, oh, that's awesome. Like it was just one of those things, like it was so powerful, because it's not the kind of verse or the kind of music, the kind of things you hear somebody like him say very often. With Kanye, it was more like, okay, all right, where are you going with this? But with Eminem, I feel like I've heard nuggets and tidbits of his beliefs in his past songs that I'm like, I could see that. Because he's rapping on this verse does not make him like, oh, he's going to be a Christian rapper now. Nobody's saying that like they were saying with Kanye. Like, I'm not saying that. But it's just really cool to have this artist who has struggled with, he's literally rapped about like facing his demons and battling his demons. Yeah. And thanking God for the fact that he's still alive. And for him to just go and do this is like, bro, like he gets it. Like, I feel like he gets it. But that doesn't mean he's necessarily going to, he's not going to be what our version of a believer is, or our version of what Christianity is. Mm-hmm. But just that verse is just like, it's just powerful for him to like literally profess such a thing on this album that like people are going to listen to the rest of the album and go, yeah, like that's my jam, but I'm like, no, this stands out to me like out of the whole album, because like this is the true, I feel like this is the true meaning of what the album is supposed to be. Like, the dude relapsed. The dude, like, nearly overdosed, but was alive, thanks to, just his recovery and coming out of it and stuff like that, which also saved my life. Like, I said this on Facebook, but before I found Christ, that album literally saved my life and gave me the motivation to get sober. So I'm hoping somebody hears this song and gets the same thoughts about, faith and beliefs and Jesus, to be like, yo, that guy believes, I will too,
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think people are looking good.
Two thoughts that I had. One, you were like, we can't like say whether or not he's a Christian. I loved C.S. Lewis's quote. I think it's in Mere Christianity. And he goes, we don't know anyone's heart. And he was like, so we can't say whether or not someone is a Christian or not. But he was like, you can be a good gentleman or a bad gentleman. Some people are just bad at being Christians, but saying that they can still be Christian. Like saying that we have no right to say that you're not a Christian. We can say you're just really bad at being Christian. And so,
and it's like I've even gotten to the point where I stopped using the word Christian. I'd rather use believer, because to me it means more than like what Christianity has kind of. And then
I looked at the article to make sure that I wasn't misquoting this, but KJ52, some people may know that, especially if you went to Sunday school. He's a Christian rapper. He hasn't really done much lately, but he had a song called Dear Slim, which was kind of in the notes of Eminem's Dear Stan, which is a really dark song. Dear Slim is basically a song of KJ52 because he's a white rapper, and everyone compared the two, which I don't really see the connection.
Well, NF now, like
NF is the one now.
There are a few songs in KJ52 that had that quirkiness. So. Yeah. But he wrote the song basically to Slim, to Eminem, about just preaching the gospel to him, basically. Mm-hmm. And so there's a song that Eminem wrote in 2009 called "Be Careful What You Wish For," and in the verse he says, I'm trying to read the article so I don't missay it. Basically that he had a fan that was praying for him, and so in the end of it he goes, I don't need you praying for me, I already have God on my side. And so that was in 2009 so he's been through quite a journey.
And that's what I said, there's been nuggets, and I'm just like, so it's just one of those things where I'm not questioning his belief, because I feel like that part is genuine. And it's surely he's not a practicing Christian like people would want him to be, and I think that's okay too.
Yeah, I just think I get annoyed every time some famous person professes faith in some way.
Yeah.
And immediately so many Christians are like, oh, well, they're not like a real Christian, blah, blah, blah. Same thing happened with Justin Bieber.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like you're literally just judging him or
Which-
her. You're judging
which-
this person,
Which
which is exactly what we were told not to
Yeah.
do. And like,
Yes.
exactly what you were saying, Cody. It's like we don't know.
we
their
were
heart,
just in
per
Romans
se.
a month ago that talks about that, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just like, why
Yeah.
can't we like? I don't know. For me, it's almost like I just think it's all kind of good and like, but also it's none of
Yeah.
my business kind of thing. Where I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, if this person's professing faith, that's really awesome. I don't know their walk, I don't know their heart, I don't know their path, but
Mm-hmm.
if God's having a positive impact on this person enough to profess faith, that's really awesome.
for him,
Something
yeah,
solid.
and that's where I'm at. Like, for him to have such a to spit out such a verse like that, I'm just like, there's no way you can spit out a verse like that and not, you know, like.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's also, you know, there are pastors and preachers out there that have done some really heinous things as well and still get on
Right.
the pulpit every Sunday too. So it's
Right.
just one of those things where it's just like, I
like
don't know, like, but
Craig Rochelle said, comparison is evil because there's one or two things. Either it makes you feel lesser, which is not what
Yeah.
God wants for you, or it
Yep.
makes you feel like you're better than,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
that's not what God wants for you.
Yep.
And I think that's
It's
a,
just
Like we could just acknowledge it as a thing. That's all
Yeah.
we can do. We
Yeah.
just acknowledge it as a
Yeah.
thing and
Yep.
be like, haha, this could
Yep.
be good. But
Yep, and I guess that's where I'm at. I'm like just following the journey of this artist that I've followed since for a long time. I'm just like, feels like a win for me, and I genuinely believe
Yeah.
that it's
definitely. Yeah,
I really,
it's cool.
For me.
I really like that for you. That's awesome.
real. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to drag it on that long, but I feel
No,
like
it
it's
was
a
good.
very big. It's a very big topic right now, at least for
Absolutely.
you know that crosses the two worlds. You know,
Yeah.
so
That's what
anyway,
we talk about here.
yeah.
Here on the podcast. Here at Geeks Under Grace. That's what we
Yeah.
do.
And we don't have a music category, so I'm like, I gotta mention this.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, we will end the podcast there then. LJ, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at LJ the Paladin and streaming on our Twitch channel on Friday nights, twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace.
Cool. And you can find me. Nope. You can find Shelley in places.
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24. Don't be alarmed. I have changed my profile picture to Casey Jones.
I love it. I love it.
Awesome.
I changed my Smash tag to Goongla Cowabunga. I finally did that too. So.
Nice.
And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye bye.
Peace.
Goongla.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.